Hey guys, we're back at it again.
Back
Me
at
and
it
Air.
again.
Me and little guy. We love each other again.
Yes.
We got into a big no, just kidding. But I will say this. My stomach's like a little I just ate.
Ooh.
So there's some grumbles going on. I didn't want you guys to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just like say really quickly, since this is a pod about our journey in life. Aaron, as you know, has been working on a script, and Aaron is the type of guy who's a perfectionist. You know what I mean? And he gives me a deadline that I don't think is realistic. I think if Aaron gives you a deadline, you should probably extend it by 2 months from that deadline, maybe, if even. No shade, but that basically he has been telling me that this script is going to get done. It's going to get done. It's going to get done. And I know that he's working very hard on it. He genuinely is. But as someone who wants to like raise money for the script, sell the script, figure out what we're going to do with the script, I'm anxious to get it started, especially if we genuinely plan to film next year. Now, this is being very optimistic. We have no idea if any of this is going to happen, but we're really hoping so because we want our lives to change in our careers as well. So, Aaron has been... We were supposed to yesterday... I was supposed to come home from my first day of work, my first week of work, find a script, print it out on the coffee table. I'd sit down. He'd pour me a glass of wine. He'd be in the kitchen. He'd be like, here you go, hon. Maybe make me a cocktail. You don't know. Probably a glass of wine. And I sit down and I read it through. 2 hours. Now,
A little bit of a slow reader.
I am a really slow reader, like really slow. Which is funny because I read a lot as a kid, but I guess it's because I just really try to absorb it all.
You absorb.
And then he'd take me out to dinner and we'd just have a real good classic little guy, big girl date. Or maybe because it would take me so long to read it, we'd just go to House of Pies and get a slice, you know what I mean, of pie.
Dang, you would have come home at like 6 p.m. How long are you going to take?
Well, I need to go on a walk before.
Oh, I see.
So you'd have like another hour to finish
see.
it up.
I see.
You know? So I get home around 7, sit down,
Sure.
open that baddie up.
Mm.
Anyway, I was really fantasizing this moment because I had my first week of work, and I'll tell you guys about that after, but honestly, it went really, really well, and it's kind of crazy how much I enjoy this job. So, it went well, and I was working 9 to 5, and basically when you're working a 9 to 5, I didn't know, you guys, you get up, you go to the gym, you go to your 9 to 5, you go for a little walk, you clean your house, you pack up for the next day, you have dinner. That's about it. That's all you have time to basically do.
Which I do feel works well for your mind.
It does. I'm honestly like from last podcast to this podcast 20 times happier. Probably. Now, what I'm unhappy about is that the last podcast we recorded was lost somehow.
The video was lost into the ether.
So I get a text from Aaron on Friday, regardless of how my day at work went. And he's like, no, on Thursday. And this is how I know he's going to start, because he'll like lead in with his life being really difficult and that's like really causing him a lot of stress and havoc. And
did I say that?
And then it starts to make me feel a little guilty, and then I get mad at him, but then eventually he wins me back over in this like big romantic gesture of love, and I fall victim to Aaron once again. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So Aaron texts me and he's like, my writer's block is really bad. And I knew immediately with that text, like just a random text in the middle of my workday being like, my writer's block is really bad. I knew it wasn't going to get done. I just knew that he was already prepping me for a disappointment. And these are the stages that I'm aware of now. So I said, just tell me the fucking truth. And he's like, we'll sit down and we'll have like a real go over the script. I feel bad leaving you in the dark. Are we going to have a sit down and a go over the script? No. Is he going to leave me in the dark? Yes. And so then I am pissed. I come home. I find a sweet little note on the in the kitchen. It says, "Hello, dear. I am going to be out golfing. I left food for you, which was very sweet, on the counter." And he ordered me, lucky for fucking him, the best shrimp bowl I ever had in my fucking life. Okay? Lucky. Praise the gods for that one.
I was literally on the course. I'm like, if she doesn't like it, she might leave.
I would have left because honestly I didn't
If
talk
it
to him
was
for the rest of the night and it was good. So anyway, I get home, I see the note. I'm pissed. Okay? I'm pissed until I take a bite of that juicy shrimp bowl. But I'm pissed because I'm like, Aaron, I know that you're buttering me up. I know that that note was like, he left a note, okay? A note. So that's when you know that he's buttering me up for disappointment. Then he's also golfing for 4 hours. I have his location. I know he's left at 4. I know he's going to come home around 8. I know it takes like 4 hours to do a 9-hole, right? So, am I right?
To do yeah, to do longer than that, but yeah.
Well, why don't you fucking correct me, Aaron? Why don't you correct me? Go ahead.
It's probably like 2.5 for 9, but then there was an incident.
2.5? Aaron, the last time you left, you were gone for 4 hours. So you just take your sweet time then. Because for you, it takes 4 hours.
Let me just say this is a common on like the golfer influence. This is a common thing.
What? That they have issues with time?
There's
They don't know how to count?
There's a time issue with getting home at a certain time because it's a long game. That's all I'm trying to say.
So they get in trouble with their spouses or something? Is that what you're trying to say?
Perhaps, yeah.
So you watch that shit?
It's on Reels. I just scroll and I see it.
And what do they say?
It's usually the guy going like, "I'll be a quick 9," and then it's 8. He does 18.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's not what happened, but there was an incident. That's why it was longer. Because we played like 6.
So then Aaron, I get a call. Paul is the name of Aaron's friend. I get a call from Paul. And at this point, I also see that the laundry is folded in the room. That's what I know he's really trying to butter me up because Aaron never fucking folds the laundry. Okay? Shrimp plate, note, laundry. Clean house. Beautiful. Beautiful when I walk in. And that's when I start simmering. Because I know that Aaron is trying to butter me up for disappointment. Then I get a call from Paul, not from Aaron. And I'm thinking, is Aaron seriously too scared to confront me right now because he knows that I'm simmering this hard? Let me answer this. I answer it nicely. Hi, Paul. It's Aaron's voice immediately. I'm pissed. He tells me that he's lost his phone in the middle of the golf course. And it is pitch black outside at this point. Coming home at 8, it's already, he probably would have been home around 8:45, 9 at this point.
No, it was 8:20. And
Whatever.
I know that
It's
because
pitch black.
I was right outside the house when I called.
Why don't you correct me?
Okay, sorry.
So, honestly, this is getting me like heated just thinking about it right now, actually, guys. So, I am pissed. And I
Did you call your family after we got off the phone?
100,000%. I called my entire family. They put me on speaker at the dinner table. I could tell my mom was eating a burrito by the way that she was dismissing me. You know when she eats burritos and she just like doesn't focus on anyone else.
What?
So when my mom eats burritos, like specifically Mexican food, it's like her favorite food in the whole world.
She doesn't want to be disturbed.
She just doesn't want to be disturbed. Like she was like, I'm eating dinner. What do you want? And she's like, I guess you can talk to the whole family. I'm putting you on speaker.
Oh God, I was at the dinner table.
Yeah, I know. Like maybe our fans are gonna say that's wrong of me. Maybe Aaron's golf bros are gonna say that's wrong of me. I don't give a fuck. I was pissed. And then my family is just like, Sophia, maybe he just doesn't want to write the script for you. Like, you need to stop asking him. Have you ever asked him if he even wants to do that? Because my family, like, sometimes they play devil's advocate and tell me to, like, chill out on Aaron. And it, like, just makes me more upset. But anyway, that happened. Then I'm pissed and I get another call from Paul and I think it's Aaron and I'm like, what? It was not Aaron. I felt really bad.
Meanwhile, I'm kind of telling them on the side, I'm like, hey, like, is this, I'm already in a bad situation here. So I think I just.
So you told your friends that you were in a bad situation with me?
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, I said.
Because I didn't know that.
I said, I think I take the L and just leave the phone. I said that. I said, I think I just, and then I go on my own accord, maybe at nighttime, or, you know, I try to, because I had
That would have been worse if you left the phone.
But you think it would have been
if
worse?
you came home and you.
No, that would have been bad. I agree.
That would have been really bad because then I would have felt bad that you thought that I felt bad.
What?
Yeah. I would have felt bad that you thought that I felt. You clearly would have just been coming home just to please me, and that would have made me more upset.
Well, in that moment, I would have just.
Because honestly, I don't like it when you do things like out of fear of me.
I know.
I don't.
I understand that. So I was just explaining though that I already made big error up to this point, right? So I'm saying like.
What did you say to them? That you didn't finish your script?
Yes.
So explain.
So I said I needed a draft done, and I need it handed, and it's looking bleak, and at the same time, I said I'd be home by 8, and it's like 8:20, so I'm on the cutoff time. She's probably done with Spanish. I wanted to be home before she was done with Spanish, and at the same time, I'm realizing I've left my phone at the golf course. I had that moment because I had my little Apple Watch too, and the Apple Watch says if you're connected to your phone. And I just thought I didn't have a connection at Griffith Park when we were golfing. Midway through, I got that signal, but I thought it was just that I didn't have signal in the mountains. So I literally realized, oh my gosh, it's somewhere in the golf course.
So I was talking to Paul.
Chris immediately just handed me a beer.
Because he knew that I would be pissed. I hope you're watching this, Chris. I hope you're fucking watching this. I know you drove by me.
He did.
And didn't say hi.
Can I just say something? He did make a joke.
What did he fucking say?
He said, you know what? Why don't I give her a call?
He should have. I actually would have responded really differently if you called me yourself. Anyway, since he's being dropped on this pod, he probably doesn't watch this shit anymore.
No.
But what was I saying?
We were saying after the phone call.
Oh, after the phone call, I was like talking to Paul, and I could tell that Paul was done with you too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the fact that he was waiting in the car while you and Chris were
I think he was actually hyped on the way, but I think because he was waiting by himself, he was a little tired.
Yeah, poor fucking guy. I don't blame him.
I felt bad. But also, I want to be clear that I said I did not make the push to go find it.
No, you should have. Good friends would have told you to find the phone, and they're good friends. They would have done that.
They are really good friends, and they pushed me to do that. But I was saying that I can just lone wolf it, full moon, be a little wolf.
Aaron, you lone wolf full moon is never a fucking good idea. Also, it was a full moon.
I know that's
because
what I'm saying.
I always get my period on the full moon. Anyway,
it was a full moon wolf situation. And I was trying to make the case, and I was saying, you know, that's fine. Can I also say that as we were leaving the golf course, there was this stuffed teddy bear with its legs cut off on the ground, and we were walking. We were like, man, that's a bad omen. That's like the start of a horror movie, like when they, you know.
And I was the villain.
No,
what do you want to fucking say there?
No, I'm just saying like this is the we were leaving. This was before the phone.
Yeah,
incident.
that is a bad omen. That's a bad fucking omen. Teddy bear with its legs cut off is pretty bad. Honestly,
on a golf course,
kind of worse than teddy bear with its head cut off.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Because then it's got to see that.
It's a little more creative. You know what I mean? It's got to see that shit. Poor Teddy.
So then the phone didn't go, and then they're driving me to the golf course, and we were kind of like hyped to find it because I'm thinking my watch will just connect to the phone when we go near it. Then we get to the golf course, pitch black. It's a golf course. There's no lights. So we walk on.
So I'm like taking screenshots of Aaron's location and sending it to Paul.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I didn't even know you were with Chris and had his phone.
Yeah.
But now I know.
But you were on a 3-way call at one point.
I was on a 3-way call.
And then we go in, and all the sprinklers to the golf course turn on. And they're huge sprinklers. And I go, okay, I think the phone is already gone. We're walking around. There's nothing. It's a golf course. It's a phone on like a full 18-hole course. How are we going to find a phone in the pitch dark? We did get a little bit of the full moon, moonlight, lone wolf in action. And that was nice because we could see things a little bit better. And then Sophia, it was like we had a whole recon team. She's on the computer. She's hacking into my computer on the Find My iPhone, trying to ring it, sending screenshots to Paul. Paul is sending the maps to us. We are cross-referencing on Apple Maps to the maps on the Find My iPhone. My watch is at 2% battery at this point. I think we're running out of time. We're walking. We're on the hole we think it's on. And I go, Chris, I'm going to be honest. I don't think we're going to find it. We're walking back. I'm going, we'll do one last walkthrough, and then I think we just got to call it.
And Chris found the phone.
It was at his feet. Got it, he says. Boom, mission accomplished. Boom, boom, phone found.
I went to bed that night and I
knew I was in so much trouble.
I just didn't speak to Aaron. And you know, one of those nights, like when you're fighting with your partner and you turn away from them, but you secretly hope that they hold you, and then you...
Did you hope for that?
No.
Yeah, no, I knew it.
There was no fucking hope for that.
I knew
I was like, I hope he doesn't fucking touch me right now,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I will kill him.
I knew I had to let that one go.
Last night, I was like, oh, I hope he touches me. Like, I love you, you know. But the night before that, that was real fucking anger.
Yeah, no, I knew I just had to... I knew because I was trying to ruffle for the keys because the door was locked, and I heard it unlock, and then no door open. I was like, okay. I just need to ride this out. This is my bad. This is 100% my bad. You might be listening to this, be like, oh, this is a little... No, this is...
No, I know you bitches who are listening to this and being like, oh, Sophia, you're crazy. Like, you can say what you want, but, I don't know. Everyone freaking actually in my life tells me I'm a little crazy, so.
No, this one was my B.
It was your B. I do think that I scared Paul a little bit. I think it was,
No, he thought it was funny.
I felt kind of bad because I was like, hello?
They were prefaced that I was in
Like, I was really trying to hold it in. I was really trying to hold it in over the phone.
You
Like,
did a good
I was
job.
clenching my fists because I didn't want to scare anyone because I knew that tensions were high and the dynamics are interesting.
Yeah.
But I was ready to say some things that were a little unhinged, but I was like, I don't want to embarrass anyone in front of each other here right now. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair, and I'm glad that you...
And I reeled it in and I said, Sophia, you know what your main goal is? It's to go to sleep
Yeah.
so you can wake up in the morning and go to your freaking hot Pilates class. And that's what I freaking did. And I had a fantastic day. Fantastic.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know about fantastic, actually. I walked into work and I had to like finish something really quick and I was kind of scared about it, but I didn't end up doing it. So anyway, guys, so that's the tea between me and Aaron right now. We did go to the Rancho Bernardo, which is our favorite, and I honestly kind of feel bad. Like, should we bleep out the name?
Why?
Like, should we gatekeep that?
I think it's fine because it's a resort. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a tiny little hole in the wall little spot.
It feels like it though.
Mm.
It's so magical, you guys.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, if you go, here's what you have to do, okay? Order some Biff's freaking cookies. Biff's Killer Cookies in San Diego. It's not like one of those viral cookies that's like really thin and chewy with lots of like chocolate discs and sea salt, which I love, or one of those like thick Levain cookies, or like even a gooey cookie. It's just like a classic, like it tastes
homemade cookie.
Homemade. The flavors are there. It's just freaking classic. You sit there in the Rancho Bernardo, you have a bunch of cookies, you get a massage, you
So
have a glass of wine by the hot tub.
Yeah, I think we found the order because it takes Sophia a little bit of time to unwind to vacation mode.
It does, because first of all, and this is like definitely like trauma or whatever, but I definitely feel guilty when I'm on vacation for the first day.
Like half day.
I feel guilty that I'm
So
vacationing.
the first half day, I
Maybe
could
that'll
tell
change because now I'm working, so I won't feel guilty when
she goes straight to the bed, goes on Instagram. I go, she's feeling guilty right now that she's on vacation. Me, I'm going, you know what? I'll let this go.
I was
want
also
to go
anxious
golf a
about
little bit.
starting work, to be fair.
Yeah, no, of course.
I was
You
really
were right
anxious.
about to start work. It totally made sense. But then we did the massage first thing next morning.
she immediately relaxes.
Relaxed.
We did a little couples massage, and oh my god, you guys, I could feel her energy, because I can feel when I feel like you're
Do you
dating someone for
remember-
this long.
Do you remember yesterday when I said, I can't tell if I want to leave you or I'm about to get my period?
Yeah.
I got my period.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Freaking classic, you guys. Classic, you heard it here first. I didn't even know this information.
Anyway, say what you were gonna say. You know me so well.
Yeah,
and you saw
yeah.
that I relaxed.
Well, like you can feel when the other person has tension just
Mhm.
through their energy that they're secreting. and
Secreting.
I could feel it washing away as she's working through whatever she is. You were relaxing into space. Like your particles were just dissolving into the
You
air.
could feel it while we were getting the couples massage.
Yeah.
You guys, couples
'Cause at one
massages
point-
are so
'cause at-
great.
Yeah, it's great.
Because you can feel each other's energy in the room. Like, even though I used to think like couple massages when I was little were like you massage each other, which is like fucking weird. But you're just basically in the room. I don't know. Probably everyone knows what a couples massage is, but you're just in the room
Yeah,
together.
just in the same
And
room.
you're just vibing. Like, you feel each other's energy. You get to like give a little hug or a kiss before you lay down, and then you get up. You're like sit up together. The first thing you see is each other, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe we just went through that. Literally feels spiritual. But it has to be a good massage. The thing that I like about the Rancho Bernardo Inn is everything blackout dark. There are like some ambiance lightings, like maybe a little bit of orange,
It's
a little bit of
mood.
red glow, and beautiful incense. And you get to pick your oil. I like to ask, what does this do? Does it uplift? Does it relax? Now, since we got it in the morning, I wanted a little bit of uplifting and relaxing mixed into one.
Yes.
But maybe if we did a nighttime massage, I don't know. Like, would I get a different treatment?
probably,
You know what I mean?
Probably.
Maybe I do a little bit of lavender. But they are amazing there. Like, the ambiance that they set, truly. I've gotten 2 other massages in my life aside from the 2 that I've gotten at the Rancho Bernardo. And they're obviously, I don't have a lot of experience, but by far the best because
been
of the
to-
ambiance.
And we've been to another nice hotel too.
Really nice,
Where you
yeah.
got a massage. And, yeah. So, no, their spa is really nice. And at one point in the middle, they ask you, like, they time it out. And they go, "How is everything?" And you went, "It's good."
Yeah.
You said it like a whisper. I knew she's feeling great. I couldn't tell up until that point that I know she's totally fine. She's having
Yeah.
a great time. She is vacation Sophia now, and you were for the rest of the day basically.
And I was like, let's drink wine, let's hang out.
So, but anyway, then we podcasted there, and the card
We
corrupted.
lost all our footage, you guys.
We
And
have the
it was
audio.
a fun podcast.
It was fun. We'll probably do like a little audio like we'll release the audio, we'll release the files.
Yeah, we'll release the files.
Yeah.
We're not gatekeeping those files.
Yeah, we're not the federal govy
Yeah.
on that. And we'll maybe put some photos in there, spruce it up a little bit, but we do apologize for the lapse. That's why, and it's been a little bit of a hectic week, as you can tell. What else?
Yeah, so that's basically it. We're just gonna upload it probably to audio. Hope you guys don't mind that. But yeah, if you like that, if you like the audio, let us know, give us feedback, and we'll think on that. We will. But I know that you also love to see our lovely faces and my expression when I react to what Aaron says. But anything else going on? Yeah, basically, guys, now my personality is as a full-time worker, I don't have any free time at all. Like, today I got up at 6 a.m. because all the free time that I have is, like, kind of just catered toward, like, auditioning or doing this stuff, which I still love. You know what I mean? So I do think the thing about working full-time that I do like, though, is when I do foresee the chance to relax, because I don't think it will be this weekend, I could see myself really enjoying it. Like, I could see myself like scheduling in something like, oh, I would actually want to go to a coffee shop, or I would like, whereas before, and again, I think that this is like kind of embedded in my mind that I feel guilty for sometimes enjoying life, which is wrong. There's a lot of stuff there, but I sometimes feel guilty about it, and I think it was hard for me to like enjoy like going to a cafe or like walking around or kind of having the energy to do things. And instead of like actually doing work, most of the time I was just like sitting there doom scrolling or like comparing
Yeah.
myself to people online who have way more successful careers than me, quote unquote, but like obviously not what I wanted to go into. You know what I mean? And I do think that there's a thing like literally I've only worked for a week. So I could come on next week and be like, you guys, this is terrible. Like, don't fucking do this. But I think the thing that I feel right now, and I got 2 auditions this week. I have not gotten auditions, I'm being very frank with you, in like a month. These are the first that I got in a month, and it's been really dry for me. And so it was kind of a scary time, but also like a time I had to be home a lot. And also I was starting this new job. So it did kind of fit into my life, but it was a scary time and it still kind of is right now. So I just felt like I was waiting for things all the time. And I think what's nice sort of about having a full-time job where I have to go in person is that I don't know, I sort of feel like there was so much weight on every audition that I did or on every like thing that
It's
I
hard
had
to
to bite
just wait
with.
around.
It is. And
It's
you
not
also
fun.
there is truth that those jobs in your mind, like you are searching for financial stability in a way. Like I know
Yeah.
that it feels like impossible to make a career with acting. But I don't know. Like I think there's this romanticized ideal of like doing the grind job where you're like working as a server or working in a Pilates studio or doing these things so that you have the flexibility to do auditions. But the truth of the matter is we're not going in person really to do auditions anymore. We're not driving around Los Angeles like it used to be. And there is more flexibility with hybrid schedules now, with varied
Yeah.
work hours
Everything
than there
has just
was 5
changed.
years ago,
Mhm.
10 years ago. And honestly, you guys, like I didn't realize how fucking terrible my last job was. I can say it now.
Yeah.
Until I started this job. Like signing papers that were literally like
You have rights.
you have rights. It almost made me emotional when I was doing that because I didn't realize like how badly I was being treated at my other job, or that I was constantly scared to go into work or like talked down to as if something was wrong with me if I didn't fucking fold a towel correctly, or if you know, I checked in a person by mistake, or like stupid things like for a fucking Pilates studio, or
Yeah.
as if you are like I'm actually working on like proposals for like construction projects and things like that, which feels a lot heavier. But like my boss was like, "Oh, don't worry if you don't get it done. It's probably not going to happen. Like don't worry about it." And I just am not used to that treatment at all. And I think that that's really sad because I really was undervaluing myself for a really long time. And I thought, like in my mind, if I get a full-time job, I'm giving up on acting completely. But I do feel like it's forced me, and I don't know because I'm just kind of starting out, of course, to sort of schedule in specific times to work on acting stuff instead of just feeling like this wash of a day where I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm really saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's like that study that says that people who have part-time jobs in school are actually more productive with their schoolwork. Like, it doesn't take away from that time. They're actually more thoughtful about
I
it
don't know
because
about
they
that
have to
study.
schedule it in. What?
I don't know about that study.
Yes.
I mean, I do think like there's definitely a thing to being overworked, and like that could
Yeah,
definitely happen.
Of course. It's a healthy balance.
I think
but
it's also just nice to have my mind stimulated by something.
yeah, for sure.
Or to like, I'm not even doing that. Like, you know, this week I was kind of just like reprogramming something, like looking at pamphlets, basically.
But that's something, and you know, it feels good to be a part of that. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I was optimistic about this. I know I think starting anything new, especially for you, is you feel really nervous and you want it
I
to
do.
work out. And I think that your last job, the people there were just animals, and I'll say it.
And I had this vision in my mind, like I really did, that me quitting that job was going to be the moment that like I like came back, and I had a revenge fantasy. Like I was like, I'm going to quit the job, and then I'm going to be able to take Pilates classes there, and I'm going to be like making a ton of money from acting, and they're not going to see what's coming, and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, honestly, Sophia, they don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care about people in general.
They would spin that and be like, oh my God, we were there first.
Yeah. Or the thing is like, it's also LA. Like no one actually cares if you make it in acting or not.
Right.
So that actually doesn't hold any value here anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's like just a lot of pressure that I was putting on myself. And I had this idea that when I quit the job, it was going to be perfectly aligned, and I was going to give myself like 3 years or 2 years to really make it. Like I was going to give myself 2 years and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, like the industry has been really fucking slow. And I don't know. I hate saying that as well, because it's also like excuses. You know what I mean? And as I said before in many of these podcasts, we don't really know when, like, oh my God, sorry. Everyone has been telling us like since COVID basically that the industry is slow, quote unquote. And that's been the amount of time that we've been in the quote unquote industry, right?
Right.
So I think at a certain point it's kind of an excuse, but it's also like, you know, the jobs are not coming right now. Like, and I don't want to just sit around and wait, because it actually is making me live my life. It was making me live my life in more of a desperate state. Yeah. And I do believe that I wasn't attracting anything. Like even the way that I feel on a day to day, I just felt desperate. I felt like I needed validation from things that I don't even really care about.
Yeah.
And that changes who you are.
For sure.
So I do think like if you have the freedom and you're starting off as an actor, what I would recommend to people who are graduating from a BFA program is to look for flexible full-time work. Now, my job isn't super flexible, but just like start out doing that, because you don't know how long it will take you to book. And I don't know, sometimes that idea of waiting is like, it's really heavy on you, and it makes you feel worthless sometimes. And you know, you studied theater, and like there are people out there who would tell you that that's a worthless degree, but it's really not. I think that my theater background like really helped me get the job, and I think that it made me stand out from other people. And you know, like you also paid a ton of money to go to school. Like if you paid a ton of money to go to school, you should invest that money in yourself.
Yeah.
And make it back. Because honestly, it was really fucking stressful making $18 an hour, not even being able to...
Were you 18 an hour?
I was 18 an hour. Now I can say it. I would cry over any tiny expense at that point. Like, it was really fucking bad.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I didn't tell anyone what I was making because I was so embarrassed.
Or I thought it was 20. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, whatever.
And also, I was embarrassed because, like, you know, it's California. And
sure.
With living expenses, 18 is kind of like...
No, that's very difficult.
You know.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, I mean, I agree with everything that you just said. And I think that the reason why people oftentimes feel burnout is for the reason that you just described, which is this: I don't want to go into what feels like a pivot, but at the same time, I do believe that is what's giving you longevity towards the other things that you want to be doing, versus I think if you are in a situation where you're just in a constant grind job, it's easy to burn out and then align.
Oh, I would just come home from work and I would just sleep all day.
Yeah.
Like all day long. I didn't even have time to do anything because I was so tired.
Yeah.
And I was so tired and drained because my job just wasn't serving me.
Right.
And I didn't realize how like anxious and depressed and like I was always thinking about how I was being perceived. Mm-hmm. And that mentally drains you. That's also your time.
Yeah.
That takes your time as well.
It's more than just the time you spend working, but it's the time you spend dreading work, the time you spend thinking about money, the time... Like, these are all That's all your time as well.
And also, like, I know a lot of friends who are working jobs similar to how I was working. And I do think that it can be, depending on where you work, a similar situation where, like, with those jobs, for some reason, people get a fucking power trip and they treat you very
Yeah.
poorly.
Yeah.
And
Well, oftentimes it's people who are like older than you
yeah.
who have been in those positions, and then they
And don't
maybe
get me
have-
wrong, my coworkers are angels. Like, they literally all
Yeah,
live
yeah,
around
no,
me,
I'm-
and we're freaking trauma bonded. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I do think that it gave me a community when I needed it. It gave me a community of women, which I felt like I lost when I graduated school. And I did really need that. And so now I have that in LA, and that is such a blessing. And so I did need that at that time. And it gave me some sort of structure and routine. But guys, honestly, if you're in LA, do not fucking work at a workout place. These workout places in LA, they're insane. Like,
Yeah.
it's a different type of industry, I think, in this city too. So
Mhm.
it's just like, it feels like unnecessary pressure,
Yeah.
you know?
Feels like the new Hollywood almost.
It does. It actually does, because a lot of people are also like really trying to make it on social media.
An influencer.
And like build their brand as an influencer in
Yeah.
order to be a trainer.
Like, honestly, don't come to LA to be an actor. If you want to be if you want to be in like the workout space or like a major influencer, then maybe.
but it will be very competitive, I think, if
Yeah.
you're in the workout space. Like, to be completely honest
No,
with
I
you,
agree.
I think that you might as well start somewhere.
No,
Well,
no.
no, you
I
could
can
do
see
it
that.
here, but
yeah.
it's just very oversaturated, like, to be honest.
Yeah,
And
no. I agree.
unfortunately, though, that is the best Pilates studio class I've ever taken in my life. I will give it to them. And I have not found anything that comes near to it, aside from Hot Pilates at Humbled Body. That's really good.
Yeah.
But it's very different. It's very different than like a reformer Pilates. So
And to touch back on what you're talking about, I was listening to Ben Stiller, and he was talking about, he was on a podcast where he was talking to someone who said that every actor he knows is struggling and it's a really weird time, and that's
Mhm.
kind of the consensus across the board. And what he said, and I thought that this was interesting, was there was a similar transitionary period between DVDs and streaming where streaming was kind of the end of DVDs sort of immediately.
Mhm.
And there was this weird period where, you know, like you even saw like at the Academy Awards, like they didn't want to give Best Picture to Roma because it was a Netflix movie,
Yeah.
you know, so it didn't win, and everyone thought it was going to win, but it didn't because because people weren't ready to give a Oscar to streaming. And I thought that that was an interest, and he didn't give that example, but I thought that that was an interesting perspective where people were like a little bit tentative on what projects to invest in because people were either holding on to either, you know, the original distribution model, and they didn't know what projects to invest in. People were kind of waiting to see what happens next. And he said that we're in a very similar period, he feels, where just but in this case no one really knows what the next
But
model
was he
is.
saying, like, for example, when that happened, when it went from DVDs to streaming? Because I know that that cut a lot of money for actors as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, for studios, because they were making a lot of money from that.
Well, he said people were tentative about investing in certain projects or like taking chances, and
Like on streaming.
yeah, or just like in general, because people didn't. People were. You saw like this regression in terms of people not wanting to take chances. So you saw, you know, a lot more like superhero movies. You saw sort of the creation of like Marvel. You saw a lot of these big IP pushes as opposed to, because people just didn't know the direction. So people were just like, okay, well, what's gonna work? What's gonna make the most immediate amount of money? Versus like you saw like this like the 2000s, 2010s. There were some like really good movies that came out in
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
in those decades. And I think it was because there was a really assured model of distribution and post process DVDs. You made money in the theaters and you made it in the DVDs, and that kind of all went away.
Yeah.
So I think that people, and we're in a similar limbo state where streaming is just so aggressively taking over. People are kind of questioning what a movie is, because now there's YouTube, which is the number one streaming platform in the world. You know what I mean? More people watch YouTube than any other streaming platform, than Netflix, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Okay.
the model has just changed, and people, I think, are questioning what the future of how people are going to spend their time. So you're seeing people just invest in creating carbon copies of what worked a year ago, as opposed to trying to make or IP chases, as opposed to just trying to make things.
So what do you think
that
the
are good.
shift is going to be? Like, what do you
I
predict
think that's the
is
thing
going to
that
be the new streaming?
I think that that's the thing that people are.
Because do you think things are moving away from streaming right now?
I don't necessarily think that things are moving away from streaming, but I think because of AI and because of things like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and Shorts, people are moving away from the models of investing tens of millions of dollars into movies, because it's such a high risk, high reward sort of field. And now, because there are, like, you could sink money into YouTube videos, you could sink money into Shorts. I mean, you even showed me, like, people are making like short Instagram TV series now, right?
Well, they'll kind of what they'll do is like they'll put it. It's funny though, because I don't think it converts, because I don't know.
And these
Per
and,
se.
and
Like, they are putting episodes on YouTube, right?
Right.
And then they're like cutting the episodes, but pretty long scenes, and putting them on Instagram, like pretty long scenes.
sure.
So I'll watch the scenes on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, like I want to know more. This is so cool. I really like watching them on Instagram. But then when I watch them on YouTube, it doesn't feel as engaging. I don't know why.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And I think that the money people.
And sometimes I feel that way with podcasts. Like if I'm watching it on Reels, I click on the podcast, I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
But then there are some podcasts that I really love, and I see like a reel of it, and I'm like, that's not as good as their podcast is great.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like, I don't know, do the different mediums convert? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that and then also there was a whole thing with cable. Things would go to TV and you could make your money back there because of advertising.
Yeah.
And I mean, no one watches cable anymore. I think MSNBC, it's like the average audience is 71 years old. That's why it's all like hearing aids. That's so there's no I think the model of monetization has shifted completely, and it's a little unclear where it's all moving, which is why everyone is so tentative at the moment. I still remain long on the idea that at the end of the day, people want to go out, which is my kind of
People want to go out to the movies, you mean?
yeah. I think people want to go out. It's so I'm kind of not susceptible to the idea that movie theaters are going to die, or that kind of industry is going to die. I think that what we're seeing right now, and this is my prediction, with short form content, and I could be completely wrong with it. I think short form content, if I'm an influencer, is something that I would be nervous about. If I'm a filmmaker, if I'm like a writer or creative, I think you have to double down and invest on writing movies and writing long form things, because I think AI is going to take longer to catch up to. I think it's going to be a while before it starts to bleed its way into those mediums. I think if you're making short form, like 4 or 5, 20, 30-second stuff, I think that's all going to be AI in a few years.
Really?
Yeah, those are my feelings about that. It's like TikTok.
But you know what I have noticed? Like, a lot of TikTokers or influencers, they have the ones that have grown recently it's a very like personalized brand.
Right.
And it's very like, they talk about a lot about their lives or their story, or they
Right.
kind of invite you in a way that feels more personal than
Yeah.
like trends.
Yeah. Well, I think people are searching for that. Maybe
Yeah.
more. I think that the AI stuff is just going to get good enough to replace anything between 10 and 50 seconds, which I think people were chasing.
But I do think that the thing is you can feel when something is AI created. I at least feel it. It does feel fake. It doesn't feel like real humanity. I do think in a world where AI is really prevalent, people are going to want to feel some sort of connection to human again,
And
especially because we're just coming out. I mean, just coming out of COVID. COVID was 5 years ago, but
right.
it has clearly had an effect on us.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think
don't know.
my
Maybe
prediction
that's
though,
hopeful.
and my prediction is on long form stuff, like
Okay.
20 minutes, an hour. I don't see it being good enough yet, or from what I've seen, to fully replace that process. Because I think that from what I've seen of its like creative writing, like screenwriting in particular, it's pretty lagged on. But I think it's gonna get good enough to a point where we won't be able to distinguish a difference on. I mean, think about it, like on black and white photos, you can't really tell.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I think
Do you think that I also just hate that, like when I saw that thing in Vogue where like they
yeah, and that's a
had the
perfect
models.
example.
I don't know. I feel like there's also this like really artificial beauty standard that is
Definitely.
that feels untouchable. Maybe it's because I live in LA and that just also feels like all around me. But because I don't know, it feels like we're really moving toward this like
We've kind of regressed in terms of beauty
we've regressed
standards.
also to like a very like specific type of man's idea of what
Yeah.
other men think is an attractive woman.
Right.
Like I don't even think that this is what men think are attractive. Like I think it's like what men think other men think is attractive.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like a literal trophy. That's what it is. And
Right.
it feels dehumanizing and racist and disgusting. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that AI is also like pushing that image as well. And that does feel a little scary because I think like with the rise of social media, even like watching my sister grow up very differently from me and my brother, where she had access to an iPhone like 7th grade, you know what I mean? And she has like, because of it, I don't think she'd mind saying, but she had more like, oh, these people are hanging out without me, like these people are doing this, like this guy is with this person, I can see their location.
Well,
like it's just, she's a lot more aware of that stuff than even me and my brother are, just growing up. Like I'm 5 years older than her, Andres is 2.5 years older than her. So I cannot imagine what it's like to grow up like with AI as your beauty standard.
Yeah.
Like it's already exhausting having models that were edited, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Like, oh my God.
Donna just knocked something over.
Yeah, I think growing up in a world where you're not, yeah, it's weird. I mean, even when we were at that like little camp and we were talking to the kids who were growing up using like AI, they've done like brain scans of people who use AI on the regular versus people who don't. And I think kids who are growing up and they see like there's a lot less brain activity, which makes sense. They just released, and we'll stop on the AI talk because I know it's annoying, but they just released GPT-5, and on the keynote when they were presenting how great it was, they showed graphs, and the marketing team who made graphs used AI to make the slides, and the graphs were all wrong. So you could see they were showing like the leaps in intelligence, and it said like 30% and 50%, and like the numbers were wrong. Like AI generated the graphs and no one checked. And this is the AI company that's making it. So I don't know. It's who knows, man.
Was
it's a very weird
were
time.
the AI created graphs like advertising AI to be better than it was?
No, it was just like they had data, and I think they just gave it to AI to create the slides. And then it's like if you just didn't check your work.
Yeah.
And it was for their own presentation of this
Yeah.
new thing. It's just like very ironic.
I think AI is very helpful. I think it should definitely be used as a tool. I think that with especially like mundane work, it can actually help you have access to things that otherwise you wouldn't, which that I really appreciate, because things that you'd have to pay money for training, or you'd have to have a certain education or a certain background to understand things, like, or even learning a language, like you can
Definitely
do a lot of those things with AI. And I think
it's dare I say a better way to learn things than certain schools. Like if you're
agree.
really curious about something. But
it just has to be regulated.
yeah.
Like it just has to be regulated. That's my thing. We'll stop on the AI talk, you guys.
Yeah,
But honestly,
moving on.
like sometimes we just have to pick Aaron's brain about it because he weirdly knows a lot of stuff about AI.
So anyhow, I'm actually long on movies. I'm long on long form content. I think that people's attention spans are lowering, but I think it's getting to a point where it's like, if I'm on YouTube and I'm on shorts, my productivity on that day is so much worse than if I'm like listening to like a long form podcast or an audiobook. If I'm watching like that short form stuff, I'm not able to focus for a very long time
I
versus
agree.
if I'm like even if I just have like a regular 20-minute TV show in the background, it's a totally
Yeah.
different day that I have. And I think that maybe if you're really young, you're going to want to
But
break
do
out of
you-
that experience.
But do you think that they even know to break out of that experience? Like, do you think that they are just because we know what it was like before short form content was that popular.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just growing up like with scrolling, your brain is kind of wired to feel a dopamine from that.
I think we're going to find out in a few years that the current model of social media is so harmful for young people, and that the current model of whether it's AI or the next version of Instagram is just the model is essentially how can we make young girls feel as bad as possible.
Yeah, right.
And-
But that was
and-
always the model.
But I think it's pushing it's pushing as hardcore in that direction
Yeah,
as
it is.
possible.
It is right now, especially.
And I think that when people engage with longer things, they're going to start feeling better about their lives. And I don't know if there's going to be some switch in legislation or something, but I remain.
Do you believe that there would be a switch in legislation? Because I don't know if I do.
I don't know either, but I'm just saying I think that in terms of how people can engage with all of this crap, I think that either the short form stuff is going to be totally just AI slop and that's always going to be there, but it's going to be impossible to distinguish from the real stuff than it is from the AI, which is going to make people either just totally disengage with it, or that's just going to be your AI slop. And Instagram is going to be AI slop in the way that X is just Nazi, short form tweets by whomever. You know what I mean? Like, I think that these are just going to be totally siloed little things for people to get their kick of heroin, for 10
Right.
minutes a day.
Right.
And then I think we're going to see a return to long form things in the next 5 years. And that's my prediction. And the model is going to move away from extremely big studios to smaller independently produced things, because they're going to be a lot cheaper to make. That's my genuine prediction. And I don't know what that means. I don't even necessarily know what it looks like, but that's the feeling I have when I look at all of this crap.
Wow. I really hope you're right. I really do.
Or I could be wrong, and then we all go die. I don't know.
No. I think that things do have to. This just feels like a really dark period, and I think that it has to go up because I do believe in humanity and I do believe in storytelling, and I know that people crave that connection innately. So I'm going to go with hope. And
Every other job might be done for, but I remain positive on this very particular niche.
yeah, and I will be honest, like it is a thing of like, I don't know. For example, like clearly the industry is not in a good place right now. And it is really shitty that when we are entering the industry, it feels like a really dark time. It does. And it has felt that way for the past 3 years. It's felt progressively worse, to be honest with you. I was getting a lot more auditions when I first started out, and a lot more creatively enticing auditions and like rich stories, I thought. Just from the content that was being produced. But I do, like, I don't know, I sort of felt like, wow, like I really thought that at this point in my life, in my mid 20s, would be the moment. That's when everyone grows, right? That's when you grow. That's when you break out of building something in the grind for a few years and you finally get up there and you make it in your career. But that just wasn't happening. And I think we both had the option to kind of, I don't know, either like sit in that or just be like, well, this is what it is. So I just have to keep living my life. And that's a lesson that I've really learned, because I am often someone who gets stuck in the bad things that are happening or like the darkness. And I think that's why you're a good balance for me, because you always see the light in any situation. And that's why I need to like talk through all of my issues with you, bro.
Yeah, and look, I genuinely believe that the majority of people are good people. The majority of people actually want the best for others, and it's just a very small percentage of people who exploit the rest of the people. So if like 8 out of 10 people are good, it's 2 out of the 10 that exploit the bottom of the 10 and get the other 10 to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a very small percentage of people out there. And I do think we will get to a period where
I also think you tend to remember those interactions more. But if you actually think of your daily reactions, like you always remember the negative reactions that you've had in a day.
Right.
But when you think about all of the positive interactions or the neutral interactions, there's probably a lot more of those than the negative ones.
Right.
You know, unless you're the problem, and then you got to fix that shit. But anyway, guys, we sort of feel on the up. I don't really know. I think we're just living a positive life right now. Hopefully the schedule has really helped me feel mentally healthier. I think I was just doom scrolling too much, to be honest with you.
For sure.
And also like the ozone layer is pretty rough right now, you guys.
Yeah.
So we are not supposed to go outside. And
I'm gonna stay inside. I'm just gonna have probably another coffee, and
maybe we'll go to a cafe tomorrow. Have fun.
Ooh, that lunch plate place sounds so good right now.
I think we should get it tomorrow.
The lunch plate?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or you want to get it today?
No.
That lunch plate place was so good.
I'm
Like that
just saying
shrimp
that
literally
sounds
saved
so
his
good.
life single-handedly. That little shrimp. Aaron like found this like Hawaiian gem, and I don't even like Hawaiian plates, to be honest with you, but I do love shrimp. Hawaiian shrimp is like the best shrimp I've ever had. And this lunch plate place, like they do like this purple, like I don't know if it's like
purple rice.
Japanese sweet potato in there. Is that what makes it? Because it's kind of sweet a little bit.
It's just purple rice.
No, but it's not like. I don't think the grains are purple. I think it's like cooked with sweet potato.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Because purple rice is usually a little darker.
Darker, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really gotta poo right now. That's why I'm kind of.
Okay, we're going to go so Aaron can get that in.
But maybe you'll see a photo of the lunch. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. FIFA fo fun, bitches.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.